Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is in fact not a green screen. It is real life.
It's a beautiful day here in Montenegro. We're loving the weather. I don't know how many times we've said that in the past few videos, but
The weather has been very, very consistently this.
Yeah.
What you're seeing right here. Very few clouds. It's just been sun the whole way through, and we've
Yeah.
been hovering at around 25 degrees every single day.
exactly, yeah, like low to mid 20s, sunny, like a few clouds in the sky. It's really nice.
I'm still amazed we haven't had any hint of rain.
Yeah, no rain. I think it is supposed to rain like next week for like one day, but I don't even know. It said that for this week and then it never ended up raining.
It's been so dry.
Yeah, but
That's good.
yeah, weather's been amazing. Today, we've officially been here for 2 weeks,
Yes.
and we wanted to give our first impressions of Montenegro, specifically Kotor and Dobrota, where we're staying.
True. Yeah, very true. And also a little bit about the bay as well.
Yeah.
Like just the general area that we're in right now. For
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So the first thing that we noticed right away, whenever we got here, is that Google Maps, you can't rely on it here. Not at all. So it looks like they haven't done any Google Maps updates in this area since 2007. And since then, they've added streets and buildings like galore, right? And so what we're noticing is there's all kinds of streets and staircases that just straight up do not show up on Street View. They don't show up recognized on, like in the directions. And so it renders it outdated and useless, really. You kind of just have to go from experience. And so it makes staying here for a long time, it makes that even more valuable because you start to know how to get around a lot better, right? And it also makes it very challenging when we first got here, right? And
Yeah,
so
definitely. Even before, when we were trying to plan out, like to see what's around where we live, we were like, okay, are we just like in the middle of nowhere? But no, there are places, they're just not on the internet.
yeah, it's strange. It was kind of weird because like you'd think this town has a lot of tourism, right? Which means it's getting a lot of attention, and so you would think that Google would have more priority to update it, but guess not.
Yeah.
It almost feels like still a little bit like a hidden gem, so that's just kind of interesting.
Yeah. It also makes it a little bit harder to figure out things to do while we're here. So we're still going to be here for another month, 4 weeks. And so we've kind of hit a wall in terms of like finding activities to do
Yeah.
other than day trips. The only thing is we go to the gym every weekday and we also work every weekday. So that leaves us with only a few hours. So there are plenty of day trips out of Kotor, which we're definitely planning to do on the weekends that we're here. But if anyone has any suggestions for just things to see around like the Kotor Dobrota area, we're very open.
For sure. Yeah. We're here for 6 weeks, and we got a lot left to do.
Yeah.
But we need to find what those things are.
Yeah, we're also we're looking for hiking and different like free activities and stuff. So yeah, we've definitely been having to get creative with the stuff that we're doing. Another thing we've noticed, so this is just our first impression. We've been inside the walled city of like the old town Kotor a few times, like a good handful of times, maybe 5 or 6. And we honestly find it a little bit boring.
Aside from the cats, of course.
Yeah, we love the cats, but just in terms of things to do, I think a big part of that is because we don't have a lot of money. Like we're trying to stay on a budget while traveling, and the majority of what's inside the city is just like souvenir shops and restaurants.
Yeah, it seems, and like little trinket shops as well. It's all just, it's tourist oriented. It's like, hey, you're new here, let us take your money, and so all the buildings have been kind of converted to that.
Yeah.
And it's very, very small in there. Like you can walk from one side to the other in less than 10 minutes, probably.
Yeah. It's really small.
Yeah, very, very small. And so it's beautiful. It's very, very good looking, and the cat culture is amazing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what I've been loving the most.
Yeah.
But then aside from petting the cats, you go, well, I don't want to spend any money. What do you got?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing? All right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we haven't gone through like every corner of the city, but from what we've seen of it so far, there's not a whole lot to do if you're not looking to spend a lot of money. So,
oh well.
for example, buy a white shirt.
Yeah. And that's now the crown jewel of my entire wardrobe.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I've stained
Yeah.
like 7 times already.
Yeah.
I learned through buying that shirt that I cannot be trusted to own white clothing because of how quickly I ruin them.
I mean, you look really nice in it though.
Yeah, for 5 seconds before I like spill something on it.
Yeah.
But you know.
It's got like some sauce, some, you know, soup, some blood. Like, it's kind of like a souvenir of the trip.
Yeah, like
Shows
I
all the
think
experiences.
it's white now, but it'll be brown by the time that the whole trip is over, and just a amalgamation of a million different stains.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I throw it out at the end.
Yeah. So it's Old Town Kotor. It's really nice to look around. It's got amazing history, but in terms of like things to do, it doesn't really offer a whole lot from what we've experienced so far. Obviously, we're still gonna look around some more in depth as we stay for 4 more weeks, but yeah, it's a little expensive.
All right, the next point that we noticed pretty quickly as well is just how much wildlife there is in this bay. Not just the cats. As many as there are and as much as we love them, we've also noticed all kinds of other things. We've mentioned before, we've seen the jellyfish, but there's also a million different other kinds of fish. And when you look into the water, you got the classic minnows, and then like a surprisingly common amount of big fish that are like that big.
Yeah.
Like I see fishermen on the dock, but not very commonly. And I'm wondering, like, are you not allowed to fish those, or do they not taste very good, or something? But yeah, there's just a whole ton of them, and everywhere you look, there's birds and fish and plants and cats and tortoises and jellyfish and what else? Like we've
Lizards,
seen
snakes.
lizards and snakes.
A lot
are
of
cool.
spiders.
A lot of yeah. Rylan hasn't been enjoying the spiders very much.
Yeah. I was in the gym today and I was doing like a workout on the mat on the floor, and I saw a huge spider crawling towards me. I'm like, okay, I'm standing up now.
Yeah. That's the end of that workout.
Yeah.
And then also, when you go up the hill a bit, you get towards the farms and you see all the sheep and goats and chickens.
We saw a pony or a small horse
Yeah, and a donkey.
during the hike. Yeah, and the donkey. Yeah, so we've seen like so many animals here, and like they're beautiful. And
We're loving that. That's probably my favorite part, is just like discovering all the wildlife. Just
Yeah.
naturally, like organically, as you travel somewhere, you see it and you're like, oh my God,
yeah.
it's so cool. So that's awesome.
Another thing we've been told about Montenegro and that we've experienced a little bit is that it's very slow and laid back. They even have their own slogan for like the way of life here. Yeah, their slogan. But it's polako, polako, which means slowly, slowly. So there's no really sense of urgency here. It's very relaxed, very laid back, which is nice sometimes and sometimes a little stressful for us.
Yeah. It's been pretty funny though. We've witnessed a bunch of examples of this as we've been here. The first one that stressed us out a little bit is we were getting ready for our walking tour a week or 2 ago. And we decided, oh, let's get some breakfast really quick before we go. You know, we're starving. Let's get some food. So we hop into the nearest restaurant and we order our breakfast. And it's like we have an hour to get to the walking tour, just a block away or so. And this food is like, it's been 50 minutes and it's still not out after we ordered it. And it's like, oh my God, like what's going on in that kitchen? Like,
and you see everyone else around us is just, you know, like they're enjoying their coffee, they're smoking, they're just hanging out, talking to each other. And we're like trying to enjoy our time, but also like realizing that our tour is gonna leave without us.
Yeah.
And just because we didn't budget that time.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything crazy. It was eggs and vegetables that we got.
Yeah.
Right, so it's something, I don't know. It took longer than expected. So maybe the guy, the chef or the cook was out for a smoke and then, you know, browsed YouTube on his phone for a little bit. And it's like, all right, I better make this meal.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's nice, but there is definitely, like, you can definitely tell a difference between like other countries we've been and here in terms of like the slow, relaxed culture.
There's a couple more examples I want to talk about just because it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Another one was like, there's this older gentleman and he's just having a conversation with his buddy in the middle of the road, right? And a car, like, it's always the BMWs and the Audis and the Porsches and all those types of cars, but of course it's driving aggressively and it's like leaning on the horn to try and get the guy out of the road. And the old man talking in the middle of the road is just like, chill, it's fine. And he doesn't even move. The car has to like weave around him and almost scrape the side against a building.
Yeah.
It was so funny. We're like, we both looked at that situation. We're like, that is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a strong culture, but it's very fun.
And then the last example is the scooter tour. So they were meant to pick it up from our place. We paid an additional fee for that to happen, and they just never showed up. And so like Rylan was like texting them,
and
like,
we have the keys, so we can't just like leave it for them to pick up. Like we have to meet them.
yeah,
And-
we couldn't just leave the keys with the vehicle. Obviously, someone's gonna. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's where we're from, someone would just run off with it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you guys know that we're on the weekdays. We only have like a certain amount of time to be out. And so
Yeah, and so like Rylan's texting like, "Where are you guys? It's been an hour. Like nothing. Like you haven't bothered to pick it up." And they're like, just drop it off at the nearest grocery store." And it's just odd, but like it's funny as well because we dropped off the scooter at the cafe next to the grocery store that they talked about the very night, like that same day, and then we walked past it 3 days later. The scooter's still there.
yeah, they
Like
still haven't picked
they've
it
just
up.
left it parked there for days, like half a week.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there now, but
Yeah, I
like
don't
they
know.
haven't bothered to come pick it up yet. And it's just like if I was running a business, I would want to get my asset back immediately.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Yeah, do a quality check, you know, and
Yeah.
like just make sure it hasn't been taken or lost or the keys are missing or you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just slowly.
Slowly.
Another thing we notice is that people are very friendly here, very welcoming and accommodating and chill. You know, the theme has always been chill,
Yeah.
except for our neighbor who is very grumpy and mean, and he's just down the street over there.
He's right. Right there.
He's so like they say that the vibe around Kotor, or this bay, I guess, is that you can kind of like just hang out on anyone's dock like we are right now, and you'll be fine. They don't care. Like
Yeah. Well, there are a ton of like concrete docks lining the bay, and we asked a few people, like, you know, which of these docks are private, which are public, and the consensus has just been like, you know what, like if you're not, as long as you're not like moving trash or anything, like you can just hang out on the docks.
Yeah.
People don't really care. Like if they're not using it, you can use it.
Except for our direct neighbor, who seems to be the antithesis of this vibe, because he is the most territorial person I've ever met. Like for some reason, he's like watching us with binoculars. Not actually, but like it feels
Well,
like he is.
There's a backstory. So there is a cat that lives in our neighborhood, like among like maybe 3 houses within where we're living, and she was pregnant. She was a pregnant kitty, and so we were just like, oh my gosh, like we were taking care of her, we were feeding her, like letting her inside, and like, you know, just taking care of her. And then one day she came to our apartment and she was actively giving birth to her babies.
Yeah, like in labor.
Yeah,
She
like
was having contractions. You could see it. Like she's like kind of squeezing.
yeah, and there was like something coming out the other end as she was like walking around. So we're like, oh my gosh. And so
But she came to us because she trusted us and she wanted us to comfort her and like take care of her and everything. It was so cute.
And so she ended up like doing that thing where cats like, they like meow and they like run a little bit and then look back at you like they want you to follow them.
Yeah.
And so she led us to this little spot that she had like made when she was nesting.
She made a little nest within a bush. She kind of pushed all the branches out of the way to make a little kind of grove for her and her babies. And it was just in this like little grassy patch, right?
Right in front of our apartment, like between our apartment and our neighbor's apartment.
Yeah, and we thought like, you know, like we didn't think that there'd be any problem just walking in the grass, right? But our extremely territorial neighbor, immediately he's coming out, he's yelling at us. He's like, I have had many problems. This is my property. Get out of it. You need to get away from my property.
Yeah, and I get it. Like it was his property, right? He's allowed to enforce that, but
He's just
been giving us dirty looks ever since that one instance where we tried to help Mama Cat.
Now we're labeled as bad people, even though we didn't even know. We thought that was like neutral ground because there was no fence, there's no sign, there's nothing. It was just like there, you know.
Yeah, but yeah,
we don't know zoning here either, so.
That's the story of that. Otherwise, everyone else we've met has been extremely friendly.
Yeah.
Like we became fast friends with a few people here.
People have been very chill.
Yeah, the guy that sold Nick his white shirt, we see him every time we go into Old Town Kotor. We like stop to say hi, have a little
nice
chat.
guy.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. Yeah, very nice people.
One of the biggest and definitely most prominent things that we notice being here is that the drivers are insane, just out of their mind.
Yeah.
I don't think there's actual road laws here. I'm sure.
I'm sure there
Or
are.
I'm sure there's road laws, but I don't think they're enforced.
Yeah, I think it's just very relaxed.
Well, the laws might be relaxed, but the people are not. They're like going crazy. First of all,
That's the only time they don't follow the slowly rule is when they're driving.
yeah. Oh my God. So the first thing is they just park wherever they want. They park on every sidewalk, every flat surface. Like
Yeah.
they don't care. They just do it. And so because of that, it's not very pedestrian friendly because we'll be trying to walk down the sidewalk to get wherever we're going, right? And there's a car parked blocking the entire sidewalk. We can't even inch sideways like around it while staying on the sidewalk. We have to go into the road to get around it. And so there's fast flowing traffic whizzing past that sidewalk. We have to kind of time it and be like, okay, after this car in 3, 2, 1, okay, go, get around this car. It's just like, it's definitely against what would be Canadian regulations in Canada, and that's probably why we don't have that in Canada, because it's so dangerous and sketchy.
And for a lot of the way to the gym and to the old town, there is no sidewalk. So we're just kind of walking on the street, hoping that they'll slow down and not run us over.
Yeah, you're completely at the discretion of the driver to like go around you rather than not pay attention and just smack you, right, with their hood of their car. It's just crazy. And so they're also traveling very quickly. They're ripping through blind corners. There's a lot of streets where like the driver is driving like in the middle of the road. Like if this is the road and there's a lane, they're on the lane, like dead center, for no reason. Like why? You don't need to do that. But it's just, and like they're doing that through blind corners at high speed. It's insane.
Hey!
Hello! Good, nice to see you. But yeah, it's just wild. And also during our scooter tour, we had more of that experience, just stuck on the highway and like having people pass us at very high speed, down steep, sharp hills with sharp turns, and cars coming on the oncoming. So I was sweating from stress so much.
Yeah, Nick was frazzled there.
You can probably see a couple clips in that video where Rylan like is recording while I'm driving, and you can see my hands gripping the so tightly, like the steering. Oh my God! Yeah. But I do not admire the driving of this location. It's been rough.
Another thing we've noticed, similarly to Croatia, is that everything's closed on Sundays here, but not just like most things, literally everything. Like there are no grocery stores that are open on Sundays, whereas in Croatia there were some open, Serbia too. No bakeries open, like the only things that are open are restaurants and gas stations, and that's it.
On Sundays?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And not all restaurants either, like some.
Yeah, some are still closed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we learned the hard way. We were trying to do our groceries on Sunday, and there's no way that was going to happen. Like pretty much you have to have your food ready if you don't want to go out to eat on Sunday.
Last thing that we noticed so far is that the liquor is very cheap here. We haven't bought very much of it at all, but we'll see it on the shelf and we're like, a whole bottle of wine for €2?
Yeah, €1 to €2, like for like a full 1 liter bottle of wine.
Yeah. For reference, I know that it's hard to compare because the cost of living might be higher in Canada, but so is the income a lot of the time. But the cheapest bottle of wine you can find in Toronto, for example, might be 12 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, like around $12.
Yeah, and that's the absolute cheapest. You guys would call it cooking wine, probably.
It's a big difference in price.
But the alcohol is very cheap here, but so are a lot of the groceries, thankfully. It's been really helping us budget by getting groceries here and eating in and cooking at home. That's been really good for us when it comes to like certain things like popular cookie and candy brands are very cheap, and also fruits, vegetables, and meats.
Yep.
And some cheeses, not all, are also at a very good price here for us.
Yeah. So. We learned that. Well, this is personally my belief. The Kotor farmers market right outside the city walls, kind of a scam. Yeah. It's a lot more expensive than the grocery stores.
It's directly in front of where the cruise ships dock.
Yeah.
And so it's the first place that tourists will see when they enter the country. from the dock, and so the prices are like double or triple or quadruple what they would be if you just walked for about 15 minutes out of town.
Yeah, we haven't been able to find the equivalent of like in Belgrade, the Zeleni Venac market, which is where we love to get our like fruits and vegetables really cheap, or the Dolac market in Zagreb.
Yeah.
We're still kind of looking out for it, but for now, the groceries are definitely cheap enough for us.
Yeah, totally. Anyways, that's all we got today.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are interested in our impressions. Hope we didn't upset too many of you with our opinions and thoughts and observations.
Hopefully not.
But it's been definitely interesting living here. There's a lot of cool things going on, a lot of sketchy driving going on.
Yeah. Yeah, and very nice and slow living. I think we're acclimating to life in Montenegro.
You remind me of that sloth from that Zootopia movie.
Zootopia, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like what it's like here.
That was funny.
I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna cut it now.
Yeah, before I cringe myself out some more.
And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.